We are live, the Four Battle Boys podcast. I am your host, Fabian Vicks, and I have my guy, Damon Randall, Michael Atwater, and Shot Major will join us in a few moments. And on tonight's show, I'm sending up this stuff right here. Tonight's show, college football rankings. Did they get it right? Are we going to see chaos? We're going to see it all burn down? Probably not. NFL, we got a lot of compelling games, and the serial massages is back this weekend. Hey, this part of the show, I say, let's go. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Boys, yeah. Hold on. We them boys. We them boys. As I said, for this Four Battle Boys podcast, we are live and ready to go. We got Just for Men as one of our sponsors to get that C3J Black. If you got some grain in your hair, we got Sprite back as a sponsor, the Black Folk Soda. We can follow us on Facebook, Four Battle Boys Podcast. Follow us on YouTube, Four Battle Boys Podcast. We are on Sundays and Wednesdays from at 9 o'clock. Wednesdays we talk football. Sundays we talk about everything else and maybe some football. But we're going to talk about a whole lot of different stuff. BuyANiceShirt.com is also one of our sponsors. Bernard Ingram, Fort Valley alum, got a great website, great shop. Buy all your Divine Nine paraphernalia and your HBCU merch. If you're trying to get ready for your Founders Day or your or whatever, homecoming, or you're just trying to get something, make somebody mad, get it from BuyANiceShirt.com. They got from FAMU to FAMU to Fort Valley, 587 to Simon Gamma Road. BuyANiceShirt.com, and of course our favorite sponsor, Henny & Coke. The Dot Liquor.
Yo, I talked to another sponsor, Fade.
Oh,
I know you'll probably be good with it. We are also sponsored by Arizona Iced Tea.
Arizona Iced Tea. 99 cents. No matter what year it is, 99 cents.
That's it.
What's up, guys? What's up, guys?
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, dude. Hey, Fade.
What's on?
Hey, Michael.
It's not too much. Not too much.
How was y'all guys' week so far?
It was a long week, a real long week.
Long
week.
It was pretty chill though.
What about you, Michael?
Man, you know I stay blessed and highly favored. Hallelujah. I said my
hallelujah.
But we got a lot of things to get into, so I want to go ahead and start with these rankings that came out yesterday. Georgia State number 1, and all the chaos starts from there. Michigan goes up 1-2, TCU up 1-3, USC at 4. Ohio State drops all the way to 5. I would have thought they would have dropped to 6, but they dropped to 5, and then Alabama at 6. Michael, let me start with you on this one. We're gonna go ahead and say Georgia gonna beat LSU. Let's just we'll say they're gonna beat them. If they don't, they'll be at 4. They will not go past 4. Do you see any type of chaos happening between 2 through 6?
I honestly believe that 1, 2, and 3, Georgia, Michigan, TCU are locks. Regardless of what they do this weekend, I think they're locks. I think the only team that is definitely in trouble will be USC. And if USC fall, Ohio State gonna get in. Honestly, as a Georgia Bulldog fan, I am praying that USC win because I'd rather play USC than Ohio State. So I don't see Michigan nor TCU. I don't see neither one of them falling out. I just don't. I mean, definitely Georgia, Michigan, them 2 locks. For sure. But, I mean, I think TCU is a lock, too.
What about you, Dan? You see any chaos happening 2 through 6?
USC has they play Utah for the Pac-12 championship, right?
And they lost to Utah early in the year by 1.
Here's what scares me. Kansas State played TCU real tough until TCU ran away with it in the fourth quarter. USC already lost to Utah. I honestly can see one of those two teams losing.
Oh, Utah don't beat USC already this year?
Beat him in overtime with the 2-point conversion.
Correct. Here's the problem. If USC lose, it's a wrap. Ohio State probably would jump up. But I tend to agree with Fabian. I really thought that Ohio State was going to drop to 6. And the reason why I thought they was going to drop to 6 is because they got drubbed at home. They got beat at their house by 22 points. So I thought that was going to be somewhat of a punishment, and they was going to go to 6. I can actually see both TCU and USC losing. I can see it. And if that happens, you got an all Big Ten, all SEC Final Four. And I told Mike, I don't know if this was today or yesterday, me and him was talking about it. I said, don't be surprised, man, that they mess around, get road tagged in that if them boys lose, they go into the playoff. I can see.
Well, Ohio State dropped to number 5 because if you really look at the rankings, they are the last one-loss team out there. You know, when it comes to that, because after Ohio State, if you check out the rest of the rankings, Alabama got 2 losses. You got Penn State, I think, is coming in there with 2 losses. Tennessee,
yeah.
Everybody got 2 or 3 losses. So Ohio State dropped to 5. They the last of the one-loss teams, you know, out there or whatever. So that's why they only dropped to 5, because you technically, I guess, you can't put no 2-loss team over. So but really, Ohio State is in a good spot, man. Because I'm telling you, if I didn't know USC done lost to Utah already, I did not know that.
So let me ask you this, Mike. Let me ask you this: if the 2-loss team, eye test wise or whatever, is better than the 1-loss team, because remember, if LSU would have ran the table, that was a 2-loss team that was definitely getting in. Them losing really put them out. Couldn't be 3 losses unless it was an 8-team playoff. And even then, they probably still would have made it. But my point is, you look at the one signature win that Ohio State had was against Notre Dame in a non-conference. And then they beat Penn State in the conference. Both Michigan and Ohio State beat the brakes out of Penn State. But then Ohio State gets beat to sleep at home. So you really still giving them somewhat of a reward by knocking them from 2 to 5. Don't you see it that way?
It ain't no different than the year Alabama lost. They dropped to, I think, number 5, and Auburn lost, and Alabama went right back in. Alabama lost to Auburn, and Alabama went right back in after Georgia beat Auburn.
But what, if I'm not mistaken, didn't Alabama play in the SEC championship?
No, they did not.
Not that year. No, they lost. They lost to Auburn. Georgia beat the brakes off them. Then Georgia beat Oklahoma, and then Alabama beat Georgia in the national championship game.
Okay. That still got something to do with the conference too, though, Mike.
Yeah.
The SEC is always the strongest conference in the country. So if you're looking at the loser in that conference, you still can put them in, and look what happened. They end up winning the national title. The Big Ten has been this. I'm a Big Ten guy, and I'm just going to be honest. The Big Ten this year has been the weakest Big Ten we've seen in about 15, 20 years. It was weak. The Big Ten West is always weak. Thank God they got two more coaches that may make the Big Ten West, and Fickle and Rule, that may give them a fighting chance. In the East, it used to be whoever come out the Big Ten East is going to win the Big Ten. We've been saying that for about 5-6 years now. So when you're looking at a 2-loss Alabama team coming out of the strong SEC, it makes sense that if they made it above Ohio State, I wouldn't be too mad. It's just like I wouldn't be too mad. Let's say Michigan lost. I wouldn't be mad if Michigan dropped from 2 to 6, if you lost by 22 like that, I'm not expecting you to backdoor in when you got beat to sleep. It used to be.
So basically, you're saying Ohio State, if a TCU or a USC lost, Ohio State don't deserve to get in there.
I mean, they are number 5. I'm looking at it from the last time Ohio State played. They got mollywopped. They got beat, and they got beat handily at home. I think that at home, if it was Ann Arbor, I don't think I would argue with you, Mike. They went to Ann Arbor, they lost by 20-some points. Okay, I get it. But they were at home. It was no excuses. Everybody talking about CJ Stroud can't play in the cold. It was 50-some degrees with not a cloud in the sky. So the excuses is thrown out the window, in my opinion. When you lose like that back, it used to be a time when you lost like that, you didn't get rewarded. You got beat to sleep at the crib. You didn't have a good chance getting it to play for a national title. But I mean, like you said, Mike, that's the last of the one-loss teams, and they do cause mismatch problems. But I told y'all, I think somebody told y'all earlier in the year, Michigan was built to beat these boys, and when you rattle Stroud, he makes dumb mistakes.
Yeah, somebody said that.
I believe somebody did.
Somebody said that earlier. Just like somebody said TCU a month ago. Somebody said TCU a month ago.
So I'm assuming that's you, right?
No, it wasn't me. I don't believe in TCU. It wasn't me.
That's shot producer.
Shot producer said that.
He did say it too. He been on the TCU train for about a month and a half.
You know, don't worry. When New Year's Eve hit, that train pulling up.
I told y'all. I know because Tony made the comment what you talking about last year. I say I watched him against Northwestern, albeit the weather. I watched him against Iowa. I watched him against Penn State. That boy don't like to be rattled, and he one read and go. If the one read go, he look, and if it ain't there, he got great receivers. Just like last year, Olave, Wilson, Smith, and Jigma. He got 400 yards last year because those receivers caught everything thrown their way. He got it this year because of Marvin Harrison Jr., who's a stud.
Who has 1,000 yards receiving and not one drop pass.
That's my point, Fade. That's my point.
So, I want to talk about something Anatole put in here. I want to get to that in just a second. But remember when Dan Orlovsky 2 years ago made those insane comments about Justin Fields? He's only on one, even though that's the offense. It's a one-read offense. And he had great legs, but he's raved about Zach Wilson. There's only one thing Zach Wilson was good for.
But think about it. And I think Shot said this. I don't know if Mike said it too. Most Ohio State quarterbacks, all they do is one read. That's the offense.
Yeah, that's especially with coming from Ryan Day. It's a one read offense.
It's a one read offense. No, it was Shot that said that. It's a one read offense, and it doesn't correlate to the pros quick unless you have a great quarterback coach and a very good offensive coordinator that can do what they did with Jalen Hurts, build an offense that makes him comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And Justin Fields, I think he made himself comfortable because I think he realized I'm 6'3.5", 235, and I run a 4.445. I'm going to take off. And they realized that they watched this boy say, okay, we're going to have to put some plays in for this dude. That's how I think they stumbled into finding out how good he was with his legs.
I mean, how you not know that if you didn't watch film?
Because the regime that has him now, they didn't draft him. The coaches there didn't know what they had in him. That's the bad part, Faye. Now I will say Mike brings up a great point, and I wonder if he can. I'm gonna ask him what scares you about Ohio State again and Georgia, Mike. Is it the receiving core? What really scares you?
When it comes to Ohio State, because I follow recruiting a lot, Ohio State had them same type recruits like Georgia, like Ohio. I mean, like Alabama. When you got the same level ground as far as players, you know, Ohio State and Alabama year in and year out, they scare me because as far as getting those players, they got the same type players as Georgia. I'm not as scared of USC and TCU. Michigan is a scare, but Ohio State, I would rather play USC than Ohio State. USC hadn't got there yet on that recruiting path like Georgia. So if you think about a lot of the top programs recruiting wise, they don't go out and get a lot of transfer portal kids. They keep a lot of their guys there, and Ohio State is one of them programs. I just hope USC handle business. Regardless, Georgia's gonna be ready. I can't overlook the playoffs. I can't look to the playoffs yet until Georgia handle their business with LSU. And for Georgia, this game is big because you last year, I think Kirby Smart kind of knew he was going to get to the national championship game and see Alabama again, and he would rather win the national championship that way. But I ultimately think Kirby Smart and Georgia, they want an SEC championship too, man. I think them guys want an SEC title. Nothing wrong with the national championship, because my mindset last year, if y'all remember, my mindset last year, man, damn the SEC, let's go ahead and win this national championship, and they did. But now this year with this team, let's finish the drill. Let's win the SEC as well.
Now, this is the question I want to show what Anatol had put on there. Committee chairman said there's only 5 teams that have a chance. Is that true?
Yeah. I mean, you think about it at the end of the day, let's look at the conference championship game. Purdue beat Michigan. They're not going to get in. Kansas State beat TCU. They won't get in. Utah ain't got a chance to get in if they beat USC. LSU can't get in if they beat Georgia. Nobody in the ACC got a prayer as far as Clemson and North Carolina. So when you sit there and think about it, it's 5 teams: Georgia, Michigan, TCU, USC, and Ohio State. And the only reason it's 5 teams because everybody really think them top 3 are locks. They 12-0. If they lose in a conference championship game, those 3 teams have done enough to solidify a spot for the playoffs. It's going to come down to USC and Ohio State. Bottom line.
Now, let me ask you this, Damon, right here. If Michigan loses, let's say I'm just going to play chaos. I'm like Bane. I want to see the world burn. Michigan lose, TCU lose, USC loses.
Ooh.
All 3 of those teams lose. Does Michigan get to stay in there and due to the tiebreaker over Ohio State and drop, or would you keep them at 2 and then move up Ohio State and Alabama?
What's going to happen, and this is just my opinion, if all that happens, Ohio State will probably go to 4. Maybe even 3. Because here's what no. Ohio State will probably be 4. TCU will probably, I don't see them dropping.
They're 3. So you saying they drop to 4, or are you gonna pull them all the way out?
I was gonna say I would pull them all the way out, but then again, no, because I think if Michigan and TCU lose, they still are in the Final Four. Now, if USC lose, that pushes Ohio State in. Ohio State will play Georgia. TCU and Michigan will play each other. And I probably would say that will probably be a rematch of last year. Georgia and Michigan, this time for the Natty. I'm not saying that would be a guarantee because TCU is a strong team. I just think, like I've been saying, Michigan relies on time of possession and running that peel and playing real good defense and making great adjustments. And if you allow them to do that and get a lead, it takes you out of what you want to do. See, with Ohio State, I actually thought when Michigan took the lead, it played right into Ohio State hands. They pass happy, and they can get up the field. The problem is, when you play zero coverage, and once Donovan Edwards is in the backfield and there's no backside help with the safety, Yeah, he's going to get 160 yards in 2 plays. Why would you even want to play zero coverage that far away from your end zone? That's what confuses me about Ryan Day. He has a Big 12 offense. Mm-hmm. If he was coaching in the Big 12, he probably makes the playoff every year. Because those type of plays will get him undefeated and going to the playoff every year. When you going against a team that just want to bully you and out physical you, you didn't learn last year. They bullied you last year, so you went and got you a decent D coordinator. But I'm still trying to figure out zero coverage. And once Michigan started running the ball in the second half, now remember they ran for 224 yards in the second half alone. The second half alone, Faye.
Yeah, if he was the Big 12 or even the Pac-12, he'd be the. So that's gonna be.
Hey, to answer Anatole question, I don't think Harrison is a sophomore. I don't think he's gonna sit out.
No,
because if he played next year the way he played this year, he's a top 3 pick.
Top easy.
That boy got hands like his daddy, except he's 6'4".
Yeah, dad was 5'11", quick.
Yeah, if that,
yeah. And you know who reminds me of Marvin Harrison Sr.? You already know where I'm going with it. Devontae Smith. The build, the quickness, the quick twitch speed.
Yeah, the route running. Yep. That I don't think he'll sit out. I don't think he'll do what Joey and Nick would do. That's a good point though, Anatole. They probably breaking in the new QB, but they got a 5-star QB waiting in the trenches. This Ohio State, they got somebody waiting in the trenches for him. So it's gonna be where he gonna. That would be the new QB safety blanket, his safety valve, Marvin Harrison Jr. And that ain't gonna do nothing but pad his stats even more. He'll be a top 3 pick next year, top 10 at least.
Well, that's
one reason I don't think he'll sit out.
Now let me give you. Now let's go ahead and just. I know we're not gonna keep up with these picks. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm too tired to keep up with all the picks. I got them. I just ain't adding them up. I ain't gonna say a lot to you. I'm tired. Okay. I got all the picks. Just ain't adding them up. I add them up when I get a chance. All right. So,
you just got to do we'll wait for your calculations, Faye.
Yeah, we just got to wait for calculate. Might be New Year's Day, but you'll get them. They'll be there. Georgia,
I think Mike got somebody that can do calculations.
You got a guy named Richard, Faye. He can do it. 6.7%. Yes, he sure will.
When they go low.
You gotta go high, Faye.
Gotta go high. All right, I think it's fair to say we're taking Georgia over LSU.
Damn right, Faye. Damn right.
Okay, TCU, Kansas State.
Go Dogs, Faye. Go Dogs.
Go damn Tide.
Go damn Dogs.
I just want to let it be known, just put it back on the record that somebody said at the beginning of the year, Alabama's going to have 2 losses. We're going to be in the SEC championship game. Somebody said that.
Somebody did say that. Roll damn Tide, Faye.
Roll Tide, Faye.
Roll damn Tide.
Roll damn Tide, too, Faye. Hell. You got that right there, Faye.
Got it right there, Biggin.
Just also, somebody also picked that, UJ won the national championship by 20 points, but that's neither here nor there too. But y'all.
Oh man, there you go. I get so sick of this. Oh my goodness gracious! He keep bringing that up, man. Telling he made about 20. No, he didn't, man. You said Georgia was gonna win
by double digits. I want to go back to the tape. Do I need to go log in and get the tape?
Oh man.
I
tell you. Oh, goodness.
You don't need to get tape. All right. So TCU and Kansas State. I'm gonna pick Kansas State just for the anarchy.
I wouldn't be surprised. See, this is
that ain't no. But saying that's what I'm saying. That ain't no shot, bro. Kansas State got a legitimate chance.
That's not a shot to me.
Kansas State had TCU up by 2 or 3 touchdowns. I think
They was up 18, Mike.
2018.
They was up 18, and was that the game that Martinez got hurt?
Probably.
But they was up 18, and I wouldn't be surprised if it happens again. Because I always say this until you prove me wrong. You can't play too many close games. It's gonna come back and bite you.
Yeah.
You got a chance to put somebody away, put them away, man. I'm telling you. Ask Clemson. You got to put them away, bro. And Dabo, he should have sat Uiagalelei and put that freshman in. Yeah, I got it right. I've been practicing.
Them coaches be so loyal, man. Boy,
Yeah,
ridiculous,
loyalty, man. I get it. But when you watch your quarterback play the way he played all year, Faye, correct me if I'm wrong, it's time to sit your quarterback down.
But he want
at least you want to get back to the promised land.
Who was the quarterback the year they won the national championship with Trevor Lawrence? Who was the quarterback that year? Who was the guy who started before he?
That black guy, Kelly
something. Yeah, that guy right there.
Yeah, but he wasn't loyal to him. But he
wasn't loyal to that guy.
Never mind. I'm sorry.
Don't make that no black and white thing. Don't do that.
I know where you're going to.
Let me tell you. Trevor Lawrence was a once in a generational quarterback. That quarterback that was already there, he lucky he started at the beginning of the season.
Kelly Bryant, that was his name.
Shoot.
Fabe,
damn the racism, Fabe. Who you gonna start? Kelly Bryant or Trevor Lawrence? Man, you crazy.
Fabe, I think you're right.
Ronaldo Solomon.
Here's a white black thing, Fabe.
Ronaldo Solomon. I started Ronaldo Solomon.
Oh man.
Fabe, I think you nailed it, big guy. White black thing.
Big guy.
All right, Michigan and Purdue.
You know who I got.
Hail to the victor. Dun, dun, dun,
they got one receiver, and I can't think of Cuz name. He a damn good receiver too, though.
Let me ask you something about that game, Damon. That game gonna be in Indianapolis. Purdue is in Indiana. In Bloomington, right? No, Purdue's not in Bloomington. What is it? Lafayette.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana is in
Indiana and Bloomington.
Correct.
Do you think the home crowd gonna be more Purdue or gonna be more Michigan there for Saturday night?
More Purdue, I would think. It's Indiana.
Michigan travel and they got a big fan base in Indiana.
Okay.
And remember, from here to Lafayette ain't nothing about 4 or 5 hours. They'll drive there.
All right.
They'll take off there. But I expect a real big show out for Purdue fans. But I expect them to be real quiet come halftime. You may hear more Michigan fans come halftime, bro.
And see, bro, that's the thing that's so intriguing about this Saturday. Purdue, Utah, LSU, and Kansas State ain't got nothing to play for. Nothing at all.
Bragging right. I will say
because it ain't like you can win these games and you gonna get a bid to the college football playoff. They got nothing at all to play for, really. Yeah. Because you win the Big 12, what you gonna go to a New Year's Six Bowl, you go to the Cotton Bowl or the Sugar Bowl, you get a little bit more money, I guess, maybe. But other than that, the Cats have nothing to play for, bro.
I will say this though, Mike. Purdue they have beaten 3 top 5 teams in the last 4 or 5 years. So Jeff Brom know what he's doing. You just got to catch him slipping. But I think Michigan is a well-oiled machine, and they not doing anything to get caught slipping. So it's gonna be I think Aiden O'Connell gonna try to play because he had to bury his older brother. His older brother was killed, so I think he gonna go playing with his brother looking down on him. He trying to make it like he gonna try to make a game of it. But I don't think he got 4 quarters to beat Michigan. I really don't. I don't think they got 4 quarters, bro.
All right, last one. USC and Utah before we move on to the NFL. USC.
I think this is the game that it solidified it last week, but I think this is the game to probably get it unanimous. I think SC gonna win this game.
I don't know now, man. Utah.
It's tough, but I mean Utah is a stingy defense. They always have been. I just think the way Caleb moved, and see Caleb Williams, the reason why I think he runs for his life all the time is that offensive line is not as sufficient as he needed to be. And it helps his stats because he's so elusive and so strong, and you really don't and quick. It really benefits him stats wise, and looking at the Heisman guy because he putting up numbers, and he got Addison as a receiver. So, but Utah plays defense, and you play good defense, you stay in any game if your defense they come to play.
I'm going Utah. I want chaos. I want everybody to be confused.
It would be great theater if SC and TCU lose. You man, do you realize that'd be so much talk from Saturday to Tuesday?
And then we get the argument. TCU said we beat 4 ranked teams. Alabama say so did we, and Ohio State said so did we. The one thing they can say, I'm saying is both our games came down to the last second. Ohio State,
both of them was on the road, wasn't it?
Both on the road with an injured quarterback.
Yeah. See, TC, the losses for the Tide, as much as they don't want to say losses matter, in this case it does.
Yeah.
You play in a strong conference. You lost to, at the time, the hottest team in the country, which is in the SEC. Then you had a dogfight with LSU, who turned out to be in the top 10.
Yeah, who Brian Kelly just took a shot. Who shot his shot? We're going for 2. So I'm not going to play. I'm not going to play the game with him. We're gonna lose it. We're gonna win it right here or lose it.
Yeah. So it kind of helps. To me, the losses help.
Yeah.
It helps their resume because it's who they lost to, and as much as Big 10, Pac-12, Big 12 people hate it, SEC is the cream of the crop.
Oh yeah.
As much as they hate it, it's the cream of the crop. You do what Bama did with that, put Ohio State in that predicament. I think they come out with more than 2 losses.
Yeah, probably. If they go to the SEC right now, they have 4 or 5 losses. Easy.
That's what I was saying.
They're 4 or 5 losses.
That's what I'm saying. When you got a finesse team like that, because that's all Ohio State is, they finesse. They're a finesse team. They get bullied in the SEC because the SEC can play both ways. They can be physical, they can be finesse, and sometimes they can be both at the same time. So I'm a Big 10 guy. I'm a realist too.
All right, let's transition to the NFL. We got a lot of compelling games and storylines that's popping up this week. Just by the games by themselves. Let me get some of the games we said in the pre-show. Excuse me. Buffalo, New England's tomorrow night. That's actually a good Thursday night game.
Yeah.
Tennessee, Philadelphia, Miami, San Francisco, Kansas City, and Cincy, Washington, and New York, New Jersey, New York Jets. They play in New Jersey at Minnesota. And one game you forgot to leave off: Deshaun Watson's debut against his old team. Out of those games I just mentioned, which one of those games is the one you got to watch on the next 3-4 days, Damon?
Cincy and KC. Cincy and KC. And I say that because KC, not KC, we know what P. Mahomes going to do. But Joe Burrow and them boys have caught, they didn't got into their rhythm. And Joe Burrow looked like the Joe Burrow last year, where he can put up numbers. Jamar Chase, did he come back to his game?
No, he should. He should have came back. He should come back this game coming up.
Okay, so he got his other weapon with T. Higgins and Mixon.
Ty Boyd.
Yeah, Ty Boyd. I'm looking at that's going to be a fun game to watch. Because it got, to me, since he going and prove they win this game, you can honestly say they're back. You can honestly say that. That's the game I really want to keep my eye on right there.
I think the Miami at San Francisco game, man, is intriguing for the simple fact you got that explosive offense with the Dolphins, and San Francisco just gonna want to play, run the ball, and play good defense. I think that's an interesting game, Miami San Francisco, honestly. I think that's a real intriguing game. I know Kansas City and Cincinnati gonna try to put up a lot of points or whatever, but Miami and San Francisco is a sneaky game you need to watch.
That's gonna test that San Francisco defense.
Mm-hmm.
What up, Corey?
Yeah, they play good team defense. Their back end is not all that great, but their front seven is grown. That front seven is grown with San Francisco. But
you need a front seven messing around with Tua because you gotta rattle this kid because he got speedy receivers out there, and Waddle and damn, his name he drew a blank.
It's Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill. That's two of the fastest, if not the two fastest receivers in the league. So you're gonna have to get some pressure, and you're gonna probably have to not only get some pressure, but hit Tua, rattle him. You're gonna have to do something, throw him off a rhythm. Because if you don't, you let him scramble. It's the 707 drill. He gonna kill you.
There's a lot of folks that out there on the show forgot Mike McDaniel was the run game coordinator and offensive coordinator for the 49ers. So
right,
that might be a key right there to that game, because if you remember, I listened to this on PTI a little bit earlier, and I already kind of felt this. The Super Bowl with I think 37 Raiders and the Tampa Bay Bucks. That was the worst possible matchup for the Raiders. They probably would rather play the Eagles, and the Eagles had a stick that year. They got Tampa Bay and their old coach who knew every signal they had. They didn't try to change their signal. They didn't try to do anything. And it got beat. I think it was 54-21 or something like that.
Yeah, they tried to kill Rich Gannon.
Oh, they destroyed him. They destroyed Rich Gannon. MVP year too.
They put so much work on that dude, man. I mean, if you think about it, Faye. Even the Seattle, what was that? Indianapolis?
Denver.
They tried to kill P. Manning. They knew his whole hookup.
Yeah.
So sometimes that's why I be saying the one thing that travel is the defense. And if that defense is good or borderline great and they play, you're in trouble. Offense can sputter a lot. Defense usually, if it's good, great, elite. You've seen it with the Ravens with Ray Lewis, and you've seen it, all the teams that had these great defenses. It travels.
The game I'm intrigued with. To me, it wasn't on your list, Mike. It's going to be Cleveland and Houston, because Deshaun Watson sat for 12 weeks. Just was let back in the facilities back October 14th, was finally activated on Monday, and he's just going to come out and start. I'm like, Jacoby should usually let Jacoby get one more start, not especially against the Texans. Let him start against the Texans, then bring him back. You're not going to the playoff this year unless you win every game you got left, and then every other team lose, which is not going to happen. Just let them slowly put them back in the game. Let them play at half. You're not going anywhere this year. Your defense sucks. Stefanski is probably going to be on the clock next year. I'm not firing him yet, Mike. I'm not firing him yet. But the defensive coordinator be fired though.
I mean, when you talking about working it back in, bro, you can't. It ain't no gradual. He get gradual by working practice and stuff. So once he get the game day, they don't. It's hard to put plays in like that when you work them in for a half, work their person. You got to throw them back in that fire right away.
Plus, they paying this man damn near $250 million.
230.
230. Yeah,
1 million this year and 229 the next 4.
Yeah, so they gonna get that dude in, whether they're paying him $1 million or $1 this year. They wanted to get him to play because they paying this dude all this money.
All right, those games you put in, Mike. Let's break them down by game. On your biggest key on Damon. I'll start with Mike, then you, Damon. Buffalo, New England tomorrow night. What's the biggest key for one of those teams to win?
I would say Josh Allen's arm. We know what his legs can do. Seeing what he did, because they really should have lost against the Lions, but Dan Campbell kind of jacked up end of the halftime and management and end of the game management. But his arm and Von Miller's gonna be out. Can that defensive can they maintain while he out for a few weeks? I think if Josh is comfortable throwing the ball, because I mean, you know, even though Minnesota put up some numbers, that was a bad game for him. That's still a very good defense that resides in New England. So I say his arms and how will the defense survive? And now that some of the key players are hurt, especially Von Miller.
Michael.
I say it again. My bad, bro.
Mike.
What was the question?
The key for the game with Buffalo, New England.
Somebody got to establish a run game. Buffalo, New England, one of them got to establish a run game and establish it early. Because you know the weather's going to play a factor. So somebody got to come out and run the football. They went out and required the Naheem Hines dude. I don't even think he really got any clock yet.
No, he hasn't.
So
that Mike Atwater show, don't pay attention. I tell you that much. There you go.
So yeah, I think that's the key, and it's kind of for New England. It's kind of a big game because mess around and lose this, you're gonna be like 4 games behind, and you're gonna fall deep in that playoff spot too.
They really need to try to catch the Jets. That's who they need to try to catch because they have the tiebreaker against the Jets. That's who they need to look at catching. They keep pace with the Jets. You tie with the Jets, you got the tiebreaker over them. I think Von Miller is the key to the game. Von Miller not being there is the key. He might be out for the regular season. Might be out for the rest of the regular season with the something with his meniscus. Swelling still up. Doctor said 7 to 10 days for swelling to go down there and reevaluate. He's going to have that meniscus worked on before they go to the playoffs, and they don't get a bye. That's going to hurt them in that first round. Tennessee and Philadelphia. This is the AJ Brown reunion game. Mike, what's the biggest key for the Tennessee at Philadelphia?
The ground game of Tennessee and the ground game of Philadelphia. Philadelphia the other night against Green Bay, man, I think they ran for 350 yards, if I'm not mistaken. So what team is going to be able to control the ball, the bet on the ground, Tennessee or Philadelphia?
Devin?
I would say Mike is right. I would just add a little caveat. I think, can you control Jalen Hurts? Make him beat you in one way and one way only. And I believe I will try to make him beat me with his arm. Because if he get going with his legs, that'll do nothing but make the defense soft. He done tired the defense out, especially because that time of possession. Make Jalen Hurts beat you with his arm. Rattle him, keep him contained in the pocket. Do not let his escapability hurt you. Because really, honestly, fellas, if his run game is not good, you can shut that passing game up. Because everybody believes he's comfortable passing. I still don't think he's that comfortable passing. He has to get a rhythm and running the ball in order to feel comfortable passing. Make him a passer. Pick your poison. And my poison would be he's going to have to beat me with his arm. Tannehill can't turn the ball over either, man.
Yeah, can't turn it over. Miami and San Francisco. Michael, key for the win.
Tua and Jimmy G.
All right, D. Roundel.
I'm gonna add McCaffrey in that.
All right. Kansas City, Cincinnati.
Can Burrow stay hot? Can he go and beat a Super Bowl caliber team, considering what all he been through? Burrow can stay hot, and Burrow can and Jamar Chase can give him anything. They got a really good chance of beating Kansas City.
Michael.
Damn it. Damn screen. We're talking about Miami and San Francisco, right?
Yes.
No.
Like Damon said earlier, man, I got to see what McCaffrey does, man. And you know, this defense in the run game, it keeps Jimmy G out of trouble a lot. You know, can they bail him out? What's going to happen if Miami jump out on you 21-7?
Mike,
what you going to do?
They will play with you. What Kansas City and Cincinnati, man?
It was Cincinnati, Mike.
Kansas City and Cincinnati. Man, you got two of the best young quarterbacks in football. And this could possibly be the new Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady, Mahomes and Joe Burrow. I think the key to this game is who is going to be able to keep up. If somebody jumps out, which quarterback going to be able to keep up? That's the big thing.
Corey bring up a good point. Jalen Hurts has improved his passing. Definitely has. I still would want him to beat me with his arm because I know he can beat me with his leg.
All right, Michael, Washington, New York.
Tyler Heineke, man, if he can keep it going, the Giants are looking like. Well, first of all, that whole division is in the playoffs right now.
They are.
But the Giants are going. I think the Giants are about to start fading. They don't have enough offensive weapons around Daniel Jones. I like Washington.
Damn it.
Washington has gotten Chase Young back. So, and Mike nailed it. He nailed it on the head. Head. Dude, stupid. That defensive line can really wreak havoc and cause Daniel Jones a lot of problems. And when he rattled, he is a turnover machine.
All right, start with you on this one, Damon. Jets in Minnesota. What's the key? Hold on, before we go, somebody shooting dice over there at your house, Mike? Y'all shooting dice? Thought I heard some hit the table, like some dice hitting the table.
No, I just dropped some on the table.
Sound like some dice. Shoot. Let me get a little joke. Let me get.
Oh man, 7-11.
Not a little joke. All right, damn. Jets in Minnesota. Mike White still starting.
Hey, they scratched Zach Wilson last week. They didn't even have him on the paper.
No,
on the roster thing at all, boy. You hear me?
Hey, did you see his face? Did you see his face the whole game? Like he was like he'd been on punishment the whole game.
Yeah,
you gotta show with your parents. You gotta show with your parents. You had to sit at the door and watch your friend play. That was that face right now.
Yeah, he looked pitiful. He looked pitiful. He was like how Eddie Murphy said in Raw, when you got that hamburger and your mama made you eat that homemade when you crying with slide running on. That's how he was looking. I think the key to this game I think it's all on Robert Saleh and how he will use Mike White. And two, what can his defense do for him? He's a defensive guy.
Yeah. Just follow what Dallas did.
Yeah.
And I'm mad in Reggie Williams' league. I had Garrett Wilson on the bench because I ain't trust Mike White. Dropped 66 points. Still won the game, but I had 66 points on the bench. Mike, what's your key to the game for the Minnesota Vikings and Jets?
Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, throwing that football around. Kirk Cousins, he's the best set of weapons he's had. And they got I know they want to run Dalvin Cook, man, but you got some guys out there in the receiver corps. Throw that football.
Yeah, I forgot they traded for Hawkinson too.
He's been playing pretty good for him.
Yeah,
he's in my fantasy league, in our league. And
I think I'm in the wrong league because I ain't been able to get none of my team nothing on our league this year. I'm in the wrong league or something.
No, you in the right league. You just
because I don't see none of y'all name. I see your name, but I don't see
I see yours. We played each other, Mike.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up now.
I played shot 12-0, bro.
Man,
yeah, that's the thing. Ratio ain't in this league. I ain't seen Ratio.
He in the league. I'm playing him. I'll play him this week.
Yeah, because I'm looking at you now, Mike. You 2-10.
I know. I ain't done nothing to my roster nothing all year because the league that I'm in with you is other people.
Now, if you're on your phone, by your team name, that little triangle, that's a Dropbox, and you can change to the other league.
Well, I ain't changed to the other league all year.
Yeah, because I showed about to dismantle your roster and take some players off of that.
Yeah, I ain't done it because I thought the league that you got like a Middle Georgia league too.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. I'm in that. That's the only league I've been pulling up.
I think I'm 10-2 in that one, 9-3, something like that. Yeah, Horatio. Is anybody going to beat Horatio?
That's the question. That man 12-0, man.
But don't worry. When the playoffs hit, somebody gonna get hurt. He gonna lose in the semifinal. Somebody gonna lose. Let me look at the standings right quick before we get to our party shots. The playoff bracket. Right now, I will be in 6. I will be playing 6, playing 9. Damon, you're in 5th place. You play Nick Stuckey.
Okay.
I think Twin was gonna play Horatio. Tony gonna play Yolanda, and that's gonna be a battle right now. It's gonna be a battle. Mike, Ryan to change his whole team name. He just changed it to Mad Men. They so bad. They so bad. They just mad. They so bad. They mad. Yeah, Mike, I'm about to go in there and just go to town on your team and take some posts off of there because I'll have my team hurt. I had to go through the waiver wire last 3 weeks. I can't even cut Cooper Kupp. I can't even cut him.
Yeah, whoever got him, they can't cut him.
Yeah, I can't cut him.
Corey brought up a good one. What I said about Hurts. I do understand that. I get it. I just think I'd rather take. I'm not saying that he a bad passer. I'm saying what makes Hurts dangerous is his legs. You more scared of his legs and the option, his RPO. Let me put it like that. I would rather try to contain him and keep him in the pocket and make him beat me in the pocket. I don't want him scrambling. I don't want him no RPOs. I don't want nothing like that. I totally get it, Corey. I'd rather him beat me in the pocket. It's the old Michael Vick syndrome. Once Mike gone and he get the running, you are scared the rest of the game.
Yeah, Corey, I haven't calculated the put him in the spreadsheets who won. Yeah, I just ain't had time, man. I'm tired. I need a producer for that. Okay, so I'm sorry, but I know Damon was leading in the NFL. I think Corey and Tony was leading in college football.
The last time we pulled them up, you will be right, but you got to calculate them now. It's a few more games that.
Yeah, we don't have enough. We ain't do no picks this week, so we ain't did picks in a couple weeks. But it is what it is. We sick of it. We tired of losing. So it is what it is. So Michael, Damon, we'll get to our partner shot. I'm gonna start with you.
Okay. Well, I talked to one Mr. Michael Atwater, and I told him I was gonna do this. It was a few years ago, back in the day, that I had publicly said Jim Harbaugh sucks.
I ain't right along with you too, cuz. Don't feel bad.
I literally said the young man was terrible. I wanted him out. He was 0 at the time, 0-5 against Ohio State. And it was time out. It was like I didn't think he took the rivalry seriously. Well, let's fast forward to last year where he said he's doing all he think about is Ohio State. He spends time every week game planning for Ohio State. And he said he will not lose to Ohio State. He will die trying. Well, not only did he not lose, he beat the bejesus out of him. So here we come to this year, and the talk of the town was, well, he lost Ajabo, he lost Hutch, he lost Daxton Hill, he lost Josh Ross, he lost all these players. He has to break in a new OC, he has to break in a new DC, and he's 12-0, one of the top defenses in the country, statistically top 5 in I think 4 or 5 categories. And he beat Ohio State to death in Columbus with a chance to go, a pretty decent chance to play for the national title and a so-so to decent chance of winning it. So I told Mike I would do this. I said all that to say I owe Jim Harbaugh a public apology. Mr. Harbaugh, I apologize. Now I see that you take this serious. I hate you had to flirt with the NFL, then come back. But when you did it, you ain't lost a game. I realize that you are, in your last 26 games, you are 24-2, with your only losses coming to Michigan State and Georgia. And you have put up astronomical numbers running the ball and very good numbers on the defensive side of the ball. In all actuality, this year you have more sacks and you don't have your 2 stars than you do last year. So, once again, Mr. Harbaugh, please accept my most heartfelt apologies, and let's try to bring this national championship to Ann Arbor.
HBCU football. We got to decide if we want to just play HBCU football or we want to go on a national level and try to make noise in the playoffs. Some people are requesting that we have more bowl games for HBCUs, but we want to make a run for the playoffs in FCS and D2 and all that. We got to decide what we want to do in black college football. Games like Southern and Grambling and Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman, a lot of these classics, I got an idea what we need to do. So for an example, so we can get teams into college football playoffs, HBCU, have your Celebration Bowl 2 weeks earlier, so that gives a team a chance to qualify for the bowl game. I mean, not for the bowl game, for the playoffs. We got to decide how important HBCU football is. If we want to make noise nationally, we need to start getting in the playoffs. Nobody's respecting us watching Southern and Grambling on Thanksgiving. It's a great game. But if HBCUs want to get respect on a national level, we got to figure out about how important these classics are, rearranging the schedule, and able to put teams in the FCS and D2 playoffs. There's no way in the world. Well, let me rephrase this. I would love to see Jackson State this year in the FCS playoffs. With the talent they got, there's a good possibility they can make a nice run in the playoffs. But we won't get to see it because, hey, they're going to the Celebration Bowl. Hey, fellas, I'm not saying let's get rid of the Celebration Bowl. I'm not saying let's get rid of the Southern Grambling game. But let's figure out if we want to keep HBCU football to ourselves or we want to make it on a national level. Because don't y'all agree that Fame and Damon, don't y'all think that Jackson State could possibly make a run in the FCS playoffs this year?
I would agree with that. You never know what might happen in that FCS run. I just seen, keeping up with the D2 championships when I remember Brian Kelly was up there coaching Grand Valley State. He was putting in monster. They won a national title after national title. I would love to see an HBCU come out with a national championship. I would love it. I understand the tradition of the bowl game. I do understand that certain traditions can be amplified. We can get them to win some national championships, that would be great, and it would help recruiting big time.
Especially the 1AA or the FCS with FAMU and all that's gonna be the problem with that is you got to rearrange the whole schedule. That's
what you mean?
Think about it. FCS playoffs already start early November, which means everything's gonna have to start in August.
No, FCS just started last week.
If that's the case, then you going basically you getting rid of basically the Magic City Classic. You're getting rid of the Bayou Classic unless you move it up. That's
just move it up, Faye. You ain't got to get rid of them. Just move it.
That's tradition. You throwing away about 50 years of tradition right there if you do that.
I ain't saying get rid of the game. I'm saying let's move it up.
I mean, think about it, that's a Thanksgiving staple. The only reason why HBCUs got that type of publicity was the Bayou Classic when it was aired on NBC, and you get to see the halftime. You actually get to see the whole band, not like with ESPN where you barely can hear the sound. That's a whole nother story where you couldn't hear the sound of the televised Fountain City Classic. You just saw it and see one camera. They couldn't get us two cameras. We got one, and it panned this way. Oh, we back. My bad. We gotta go back this way. Oh my God, my bad. We back over this way. No, keep it to ourselves.
The Magic City Classic, that's A&M and Alabama State. The Turkey Day Classic, it used to be Tuskegee and Alabama State, but Tuskegee got out of it because Tuskegee wanted to go to the playoffs. So now it's Alabama State and Arkansas Pine Bluff that just played.
Keep it to ourselves. Keep it to ourselves. Just make more bowl games. Make a couple other bowl games.
Couple of bowl games for HBCU?
Yeah. Just do that.
I don't know, man. I mean, okay.
I mean, you get involved with a place like Central State, HBC, some other ones. I mean, just keep it to ourselves. That's what I say. But let me get my part shot. Hold on, let me get the last comment before we talk about the way they want to say HBCUs to elevate next level. Well, keep the class, keep it to ourselves. That's what I think. I ain't gonna say what I want to say. I want to keep our sponsors. Let me just.
I got the phone ready just in case.
Let me go. There was an incident yesterday on ESPN where the patriarch of the show was late.
Oh man!
You talk about somebody. Okay, let me prep this. I started school counseling in 2016, Mike and Damon. My first school I worked at. My school was 3 minutes from my house.
That's gravy.
3 minutes. If I ran into traffic, get what? It right up. Right up. I can take, there ain't no back road. Just one street, I'm down. One street, I'm right there. Somebody we love on this show, Stephen A. Smith, bragging about I live 15 minutes from my house, and I'm parked on the highway for 2 hours. First of all, do you just know that you just gave up where you live at? You say you live 15 minutes from the bridge that you was parked on. Now, you folks are gonna be smart. They're gonna put in a radius 15 miles from this bridge, and all you gotta do is looking for find neighborhoods and find your house. Guess what? Folks gonna know where you live at, but I don't know if folks are gonna do that. We go through all that work. But that's my issue. My issue is this man almost died going to work, literally, by trying to run to get to inside the building. You ran for 30 seconds, stopped, and had to walk. You're walking so hard and you got tired. You about to pass out. Then you nowhere near the studio. They bring you out your green tea and a blueberry muffin and sit it on the table. Where that? Why can't I get that in my job when I'm walking in my school? I drive an hour to my school. I mean, now I wish somebody bring me some Starbucks and a banana nut bread and just have it on my desk waiting for me. Why can't somebody do that for me? Am I not worth the same as Stephen A. Smith? Can my phone get me just Starbucks caramel macchiato, 8 sugars, and a banana nut bread freshly baked and warmed up? Can somebody hook us up? Damon want to go to his job.
That sounds good right there. Banana nut bread. That sounds good.
Can we get hooked up like that? I mean, can we get hooked up? Can we get hooked up like that? I don't know. Might want to What you want, Mike? You want a McGriddle?
I want a McMuffin.
Ooh.
Ooh. McMuffin. Two hash browns.
With a hash brown on it. That's what I don't like, Fave. I want
Can we get the hookup? Can we get the same hookup guy?
Woo!
Can one of our sponsors hook us up? You know, Horatio might want something. Tony might want a little something. You know what I'm saying? Can we get a little hookup? Can we
Hash browns and a hey, you want a nice espresso or something like that? Woo!
And can we also be 30 minutes late to work just to be 30 minutes late to work? And we live 10 minutes away. Can we do that?
So you bashing this man because he was late to work? You never been late to work?
No, I'm not bashing for being late to work. I'm bashing him because he got a food waiting on him.
That's the life.
Hey, he got Garcon making his food. Garcon.
Then he got Benson. He got Benson making the food. Benson. Anyway, I just had to, man, Doggy wore him out today on the show. Doggy wore him out.
Man. You going a nice hash brown, good sandwich, nice little breakfast sandwich. You know what I'm saying?
I want number 27. Let me get number 27. What did it pay?
Bro, man, on the fifth.
Let me get two tens and a 7. 2 10s and a 7. That would it be. All right, that's our show for tonight. You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube. We're on Sundays and Wednesdays. We out.
Yo.